have Scott Gorte. He's the manager for marketing for Nissan for the SUV crossover division.
Murano specifically.
Murano specifically,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So we're here, and actually, even though you're like, the Murano is your baby, I mean, you brought all the models for the lineup, right?
We
so
did.
Can we go through that? What's Nissan offering in this segment now?
Sure. So, the crossover market is just exploding, and it's segmented in a number of different ways. We've got the compact SUV, which is where the Rogue plays, and that's been crossover for quite a while, really, since the segment first got birth. The big news is probably in what we call the large SUV segment, which is the Pathfinder, which is the vehicle we're in at the moment. And slowly that segment has been changing. A key that folks are looking for is something that has fuel efficiency but strikes that nice balance between people hauler, fuel efficiency, and being able to haul.
Well, this one in particular has changed a lot. I own a Nissan Pathfinder, 1997.
Great vehicle. Great
but it was completely different.
Yeah.
Very square.
Very much so.
Very like rough, almost. I had a boat, and so I needed something to. It was great.
Sure.
I had a 21-foot boat, so it was great.
Okay.
But this has evolved into something completely different.
Well, I mean, it's car-based, so you get that more of a sleek element to it. So it's a little easier to drive, obviously, but having to give up cargo hauling capability or trailers or boats or whatever.
Yeah. But has Nissan lost that part of the segment in which you have like a Rogue? Because you don't do the Xterra anymore either, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Xterra is still out there. Our traditional large SUV, which is the Armada, is still out there.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're missing the segment. In fact, if anything, like I said, we're actually hitting the mark, especially with this model, with the Pathfinder that we're in.
Yeah. And we just heard the engine of the Juke Nismo.
The Juke Nismo, boy, talk about a fun car to
Exactly.
drive. A segment buster, no doubt about that. And the nice thing about that, the styling, I call it quirky, and I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah.
It really steps out. It's a vehicle that people are going to notice in.
Yeah.
We expect the same thing actually with that new Murano that we just came out. That launched in December. We've gotten rave reviews so far from customers and dealers, and the thing that really resonates with folks is that design. So you'll start to see those nice design elements coming through all the Nissan
And
line.
that has changed also because at least the original, this is the third generation, right?
Third generation, that's
the
right.
The original was more rounded, more like, very different for its time.
Kind of helped define the segment, really, as a crossover. So it had a nice, sleek look to it, very well received in the marketplace. Generation 2 was more of an evolutionary design, and then with this Gen 3, really we went back to our roots and tried to develop something all new in the segment.
Yeah. So we have the Rogue, before we go more in detail into the Murano. The Rogue is like doing great. I mean, that segment is...
Rogue is doing
like
great.
Probably the fastest growing in this category, right?
Segment, of the automotive industry. So it's key that you have a good player in that segment. We came out obviously all new in model year 14. We extended it a little bit. Great unit for families that need potentially a 2-row. It has the option, of going 3-row. So if you have more kids, great cargo room, fuel efficient with the 4-cylinder engine, best in class fuel efficiency.
So let's go to the Murano, which is your baby, and you've been, you're in charge of the marketing for that car.
Yes.
And once you get a good product, I guess it makes your work much easier. Right?
It does. I'll tell you, it really is a blessing to have a good vehicle that comes out. Again, it looks dynamite from the outside. It looks great from the inside. But it's not just the looks to it. And you'll get a chance when you test drive. You'll feel it's got the zero gravity seats to it. It's got the nice our stalwart V6 engine, which is very smooth delivery of power, and yet fuel efficiency, 28 miles per gallon on the highway.
Can you talk about the zero gravity seats a little bit, because for most people probably don't know what that means.
Yeah, it just means that we've taken elements from NASA.
Really, from NASA directly.
From NASA, and so. They're looking for all the seat points that an astronaut, as an example, would use in a space flight. And so we've created seats that articulate to all of those pressure points that a customer would have.
But there's no pressure in out space. So.
Well, it's comfort, because that's all you can do is sit.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so we've developed seats that kind of mimic that. That's why we call it zero gravity.
Okay.
It really, and it sounds like a marketing gimmick. It is dynamite. I'll tell you, we've driven from Nashville to Atlanta a couple times for trips on business. and the seats are dynamite. You can drive through heavy traffic or no traffic, and the seats are wonderful, front and rear seats as well.
Yeah, and also I believe that has like technology like heated seat, ventilated all over, right?
Heated and cooled seats, yep. The other big thing that I probably should touch on, the safety element. So, in the luxury segment, you tend to see the predictive forward collision avoidance systems. These are systems that anticipate based on radar if a car traveling 2 vehicles in front is slowing down. We have the technology that we brought down on Murano that alerts the customer to that happening. Whether the customer actually sees it or not, the radar senses and alerts the driver to that.
So, and what's been the strategy for the marketing for this car?
So, great question. So the vehicle is targeted for 35 to 45
that's
age
young,
customers.
No?
Yeah, it is young, but there's a segment out there of folks who are looking again to set up a little bit higher. They don't need as much people hauling capability, even though the vehicle seats 5. They're interested in something that serves their purpose from a social perspective, where they can engage with people in the back seat. And they feel comfortable because it looks great. And again, there's no compromise in terms of cargo if they need that, but it looks great while they're driving it.
And does the Murano has the third row of seats?
The Murano does not have the third row. So
but this is the Pathfinder that fits that need.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what you have. Like you have one crossover for every need, more or less, right?
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we cover all the needs of our customer base out there, because we know it's very diverse.
Yeah.
And so we've got a unit to fit every need out there.
So what are we talking about price-wise? What's the range between like the 4 models, or like the fit with the Xterra, right?
Yeah, the Murano starts at $29,560.
29. That's not that much.
No, not for a unit that has as much on it as it does. The Rogue is going to start a little bit less than that in the 24 range, I believe, and then of course Pathfinder starts at $29,510.
Yeah.
For
so also every need and every budget too.
Every need, every budget. Yeah, absolutely.
So what's been the Murano was launched in December into dealerships, and what's been the early sales for that?
Yeah.
We're only 3 months into it.
Yeah. Well, Steve mentioned earlier that sales are up 28%, so it's been a dynamite hit. We launched December 8th. It's been out there on TV, and once you get out there on TV, customers can't wait to see it and come in. And so it's done dynamite at the dealerships. We can't ship them fast enough, quite frankly.
So TV is still like king for automotive advertisement,
not as much as it used to be, but it's
how
still,
much has changed that?
It's still a key player. There's no doubt about that. You get a lot of eyeballs, especially Nissan tends to partner with college football and some of the NFL, and of course we were on Super Bowl. So we tend to get our pretty good share of eyeballs, but we're across all platforms. We're digital, we're social media, we cover it all.
And even for like this event, this is a small event, but it's part of the marketing strategy too, right?
Absolutely. Come out to where our customers are and talk to them about it.
Yeah, and you have here a designer from Miami that it's like designed like a collection of jewelry. That's pretty smart.
Just for the vehicle, yeah. Tailor-made to what she thought each buyer or driver of each unit would actually want to wear. Very interesting.
So Nissan is thinking
design.
of everything from zero gravity seats to jewelry to wearing the car.
Absolutely.
So what else are the plans for Murano for the rest of the year? Again, it's only 3 months, but this is just the start, right?
This is just the start. Our full intent and goal is obviously just to get as many out there as we can. I should mention too that the Murano traditionally was made in Japan, so this is the first time we've actually made the unit here in the U.S., which is exciting for us, exciting for the plant, and certainly helps make sure that we can get all these units out there to where we need to be. But we're just looking for explosive growth with this model.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for the information, and I guess NissanUSA.com, the website for more information about the
Nissan USA, absolutely.
all these SUVs, the crossovers, and all the rest
the
of the
entire
models.
lineup.
Okay, thank you very much, Scott, and
thank
you for having us here in Miami.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bye. Bueno, eso es todo para el show de esta semana. Los espero muy pronto aquí en Sirius XM Radio, canal 153. Recuerden que pueden ir al canal de YouTube Autos Javier Mota para ver la información de todas las actividades que hemos estado cubriendo esta semana aquí en Estados Unidos. Los espero en la próxima. Chao.
Este programa fue una producción de National Latino Broadcasting.